Hey kids, Mr. Glenn here, hope you're well. We are going to be learning about Python and what Python is and what it does. We're going to start off really slowly and simply in Tynker. We're going to go to our usual platform at tynker.com, and then we are going to have a look to see what Python is and what it does in the game. However, what I'd like to do is just show you really quickly why we're going to go down this route and what Python is and why it's so important. So Python itself is what's called an expressive language. It is also written in as normal English without jargon as much as possible. So what I mean by this is that sometimes in programming languages, when we start to write syntax, and syntax is where we write very specific words to do very specific things, like in English, we have verbs, nouns, and adjectives, and we put them in a particular order so that we understand them. This syntax in Python is simple, more simple than other languages. Let's take another language such as JavaScript. That sometimes will catch you out as a beginner with capitalization of words in the middle of functions, for example. But in here, you can see that I've taken a screenshot of something that I've just quickly made in Python. And this is in PyCharm, which is called an IDE. And this IDE allows us to create Python code, and it has this area at the bottom. Once we hit play, it shows us that this terminal here will produce what's happening in the console below. So we are trying to work out the area of a triangle. If you know about how to work out the area of a triangle, you need to find the height of the triangle versus the base of the triangle, and then you can halve it or double it depending on what you're doing. In here, I've got my area, and I've got my A side and B side and C side, and I've divided it by 2. What I've done as well is I've told it to do some fancy bits and pieces. In here, this you can see times, and multiply, and then halve it. Okay, which is this kind of formula is S. So we can have a look at this. I'm going to bring this up for us. I'm going to see if I can bring this up on my computer. And I'm going to bring this over now. And so you should be able to see it actually working. I'll go and minimize this. And go into my IDE. There we go. And you can see that this here at the bottom is ready for my first side of my triangle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 20 as my first side, hit enter, and I'm going to put 30 as my second side, and my third side I'm going to go and put in 70. And then you might be ahead of me here in that some of these sides wouldn't actually be realistic, and possibly they wouldn't. And when I go and hit my enter, you can see that I've got an error. Now the snag is that if you are not precise with your language, that you will get errors in the syntax. However, what Tynker will help you understand is that somewhere in your code you can pinpoint where this error is. And this is really important, especially when we've moved away from Scratch and we've gone into actual writing code, is that you need to start to debug what's going on. So I'm going to get my other window up now and show you what I've debugged and how I've processed this and how this is going to work in Tynker. Okay, with my second window open now, what I've done is I've made sure that there are correct spaces in this sentence, and that this little piece of code here attributes to this and tells us that this is going to spit out the correct answer. So when I hit, say, 76 and I've got 80 and then let's go and put 99 in the last one, that it will now give me the area of my triangle based on the calculation above. And now it says the area of your triangle is, and this little bit here is going to spit out the area and the percentage of area here because I put the word area and didn't attribute it correctly to this function. Okay, so that's it simply. However, there's way more to do with Python than just doing calculations. One of those things is making computer games. Python is so powerful that using little add-ons, especially things like PyCharm, for example, such as this, you have areas on the internet and on the web, such as Scratch, but you also have these places for Python as well. That allows anybody to learn the basics of Python and turn it into something fantastic. So in here, you can see that there are loads of different types of games using PyCharm. Using Pygame, sorry. So let's move on to Tynker and let's start building our games for real. To start with, we're going to start by moving these characters around. And if you have an iPad, for example, you may have seen this in the Swift games. We're going to start off really simply by using basic language and then getting ourselves to understand the brackets and the parentheses by getting our character to move through the game. So let's go and check out what it is we're going to go and do. I'm going to show you how Tynker works and what we're going to do first. I'm going to move my window up, see if that's going to allow us to see what's going on. And as we move into Tynker, now you can see that I've got my tutorial on the left hand side. My tutorial has changed slightly and we are going to use basic commands and then we're going to hit play at the bottom of the screen. Quick tip here, when you see curly brackets or parentheses, hit them twice like this so that anything that you're going to put inside it, you can go back and get that action working using your arrow keys and your double brackets. Like this, move back in, and then if you need to go and give a value inside there, then you can do without having to go bracket, value, bracket. So I'm going to go down to the bottom now, hit play. My character should move 2 steps forward, and you should get some XP. It starts off simply, and then as you're accustomed to now, it'll start to get harder and harder. Right, year 6, I'm going to let you go and have a go yourselves, and as always, year 6,